Toby be good nigga for massa. Good nigga. Don't send Toby away.
We have the biggest rallies, the most incredible rallies in the history of politics. That's because people want to take their country back. Our country is being lost. We're a failing nation. And it happened 3.5 years ago. And what's going on here, you're going to end up in World War III, just to go into another subject. what they have done to our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. And a lot of towns don't want to talk. It's not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country. And it's a shame. As far as rallies are concerned, as far as the reason they go is they like what I say. They want to bring our country back. They want to make America great again. It's a very simple phrase, make America great again. She's destroying this country. And if she becomes president, this country doesn't have a chance of success. Not only success, we'll end up being Venezuela on steroids.
I just want to clarify here. You bring up Springfield, Ohio, and ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. Eat the cat.
Seeing red, so don't push me. Ain't Donald Trump trying to grab him by the... Said it was some Haitians somewhere out in Springfield. Women doing cartwheels.
Have you seen Garfield?
Eat the cat.
Have you seen Snowball? This about to snowball. I'm about to go off. I can't let this go on. Miss me like an airball. Tell me where my cat is, cough it up like a hairball.
Eat the cat.
I gotta tell them if they even put the fingernail on Santa's little helper to turn them to hamburger helper. Somebody better help them, cause I'm going to jail for showing them fellas helter skelter.
Eating the dog.
Usually I'm content, but if you touch my dog, then I'm turning into John Wick. I'm lit. Bird better drop it. If you touch my pet, then I'm pulling up like CrossFit.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. Eat the cat.
It's a shame, it's a pity. Gone overseas where they said Hello Kitty. But it ain't there, it's right here in your city. When I turn my back, now the cat goes missing in the where my peoples is at. Does anybody know where Heathcliff went at? Cause I heard they putting claws on felines, I'm mad. And my cat disappeared just like Felix the cat. And the cat got paid back. Thought she was a goner, but the cat came back. If you ain't a pussy cat, say drop that cat. Drop that cat. Drop that cat.
The cat.
Got paid back. Thought she was a goner, but the cat came back. If you ain't a pussy cat, say drop that cat. Drop that cat. Drop that cat.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat.
Hey guys, it's Mayor Mamdani. I just want to let y'all know we're not deporting any Haitians from New York. I don't care what the Supreme Court says. We need you to eat the dogs and cats and pigeons and shit like that. You know, to keep a healthy ecosystem in the city. Just like we need the Chinese to kill the rats for Chinese takeout. We all know that ain't Kung Pao chicken, Mr. Chow. Anyway, we're sending y'all back to Ohio for a little bit. Please try not to eat all the dogs and cats like you did last time. And we'll see you back here when things cool down, okay? Gracias.
This week, the Supreme Court ruling the Trump administration can end the temporary protected status program for over 1 million people, now clearing the way for the Department of Homeland Security to carry out its immigration crackdown. MS Now's Alex Tabbitt has the very latest from Springfield, Ohio. It is home, of course, to a large Haitian community. So, Alex, what are you hearing from those directly affected by this ruling? What's in store for them?
Well, Alex, the over 10,000 Haitians living here in Springfield, Ohio, are facing an impossible decision between returning to Haiti, where the political and economic crises have only gotten worse in recent years, a country that is essentially run by gangs. And the Haitians here tell me that returning to Haiti, they will be going back to that country with a target on their back, that these gang members seek out Haitians coming from the United States of America under the assumption that they have money that they can take from these people, or they can stay here in the United States without any legal status anymore, living a life on the margins, living a life in the shadows, afraid to go outside, to buy groceries, to take their children to school. That is the difficult decision the Haitians here in Springfield are facing. I talked to Rose Joseph. She's a Haitian leader here. She also has TPS about this difficult decision. I want you to hear what she had to say.
Some employers already talk to their employees, and we received call this morning from people saying that, unfortunately, starting on July 1st, they won't be able to go to work anymore. It is like a catch-22. For us. Yeah, it is hard. And I think from yesterday to today, I think the community is just trying to process the news. And I think we are in a question period because people are asking what they're gonna do.
So of the 350,000 Haitians in the United States with TPS, a little over 10,000, close to 15,000 live here in Springfield. The population of Springfield is about 58,000. So with this decision from the Supreme Court, 20% of this community in Ohio overnight has lost their status. That is going to have huge ramifications for the community as a whole.
So apparently there is a town in Springfield, Ohio. There is a town called Springfield, Ohio, that is 20% Haitian, at least minimum 20%. There's probably a couple extras that they didn't catch, they didn't count for, whatever. They snuck in on a different boat, whatever. 20%, that's a lot. It's a big boat of Haitians, y'all. That is a lot of Haitians. Now, the question I have to ask y'all is, should I care? If you're Black, should you care? Do we care? In Black America, are we crying for the Haitians that have to go home, back to Haiti? I hear it's wonderful there. All the celebrities, like a couple of years ago when Trump called Haiti a shithole country, I remember distinctly a lot of the white celebrity rich people, they were like, no, Haiti's beautiful. Look at the water. Look at the coast. Look at me drinking this cocktail on the beach. Haiti's beautiful. They told me Haiti's beautiful, and I think they should go back and enjoy and then help maintain the beauty of their home country. But that is the question on the table tonight. The Haitians have to go home. Is it a bad thing? Is it wrong that we're sending the Haitians back? And should Black people care? Is it a Black issue? Because Haitians are Black, Black Americans are Black, but we're not like Black together. That's some niggas over there. They're not really with us.
Don't move to the suburbs if you don't know how to act. Do not. We're good over here. We respect one another. We are building families. We don't want the riffraff over here. Okay. I notice that when the wrong type of people start to move in, you can easily spot it. And it's like, if you're coming from a different way of living, I'll put it that way, come and assimilate to what's going on over here.
I think we throw this word assimilation. I think we use that word way too liberally. I'm not sure that people really assimilate the way that, we throw the word around. I think people do what they have to do. And then beyond that, they do what they're allowed to do. They do what they can. And I don't know that assimilation is really a natural pattern of just human behavior. You kind of have to force behaviors at that level. And Assimilation just ain't working on a grand scale. It's just not a thing.
I am tired of the wrong type of people, and y'all know who I'm talking about, moving into neighborhoods and ruining them. It's like you don't even recognize the neighborhood. You don't. You're coming and you're blasting your music at all times of night. You're not keeping up with your property. You're giving the neighbors and
Oh shit, I was muted. My bad. No, people who come from like even low income, really impoverished ghetto areas, high crime, high vigilance, high police activity, high stress levels in general. It's hard for them to really blend into like the true suburban. We don't even have sidewalks on my block type of neighborhood. You know, all these houses have multiple cars in the driveway. The lawns are manicured, children's play sets in the back. Like a lot of people who come from certain type of just lower income environments, they don't always feel comfortable out, away from it all. They might even feel a level of like internal conflict with it all, right? And that is just the difference of culture on a class level, right? At the heart of it all, we're all Americans. We all speak the same language. We all have like the same social, cultural touchstones, barbecues and ball games. We all remember Michael Jordan. We all know who Babe Ruth is, like shit like that. But that's an economic cultural difference that it makes it hard for people to quote unquote assimilate. Our poor can't even assimilate into our middle class and upper middle class suburban neighborhoods all that well, right? And those are still our people technically, right? Those are still our American brothers and sisters in that regard.
the HOA problems, and then when someone corrects you and checks you about it, everything's race and everything is, oh, I'm being discriminated against. They just don't want me here. Yeah, I don't either. I don't. I like my nice suburban neighborhood where I don't have to worry about if I leave my garage up too long that my belongings are going to be stolen.
You know what? I too love that about suburbia. And I'm with Miss Cantrell. I love suburbia as well. It's really nice out in the suburbs. You got to try it. At some point in your life, you just got to give it a shot. I mean, for the kids, the kids deserve it. I remember when I was little in New York City, they used to have like these programs, these commercials on TV for this summer youth program called the Fresh Air Fund, where the whole point of the Fresh Air Fund was getting these like ghetto kids from, Brooklyn, the Bronx and Harlem and all that, getting them out of the city onto like, I don't know, a farm in upstate New York. Remember how people used to say, well, we had to put your dog down, but really they said they put him on a farm upstate. Like that's where the kids would go for the Fresh Air Fund, that upstate farm where dogs go to live forever. And black kids from the ghetto would go up there and like swing on a tire swing or some shit like that. And the idea was to give them a taste of suburban living and maybe, get them acculturated at a younger age with a different way of living. Maybe they might want to aspire to that as they get older.
So when you come over here, learn how to act, get some decorum, have some manners, respect other people. And a lot of people will go and purposely bring their bad habits from their hood neighborhoods and bring it over here and expect and act like everybody else is doing something wrong.
Now, if we as Black Americans don't like when other Black Americans bring their trashy, low vibrational, low self-respect having, your loud music having, your saggy pants wearing, your booty shorts in the summer wearing, your hoochie mama outfit wearing, your badass kids, when you bring all your littering, your littering bandits, when you bring all of your low income neighborhood behaviors and cultures out to the suburbs, you know, where people own their homes and they take care of their own property and they know their neighbors and they even say hi to their neighbors. They might actually even be friends with their neighbors. Could you imagine that? Being friends with the people who live next door to you? Yeah, that's what they do out there. And here you come with your badass kids, not giving a shit about how other people think and how other people feel and all that. And you're like, so what? I'll do what I want. I'm Black and I'm proud.
When that's the whole reason why we're here. No offense. Nobody ever says, man, I can't wait to move into that predominantly Black neighborhood.
Damn. And she grinning hard. She know that was like the most sarcastic thing you could ever say, right? Look at how much teeth she's showing when she says that bullshit. Because nobody ever says happily, I'm moving to an all-Black neighborhood. Yeah. Like, nobody ever says that with pride. Even Black people say, I'm moving out there with them white folks with a level of pride. And a little bit of guilt and shame because you got to leave these bum-ass niggas behind. Niggas be feeling guilty about leaving the bum-ass niggas behind. They really do. They call it survivor's guilt. You ever heard of that? They call it survivor's guilt, y'all. You had to leave them behind. They were too ghetto. They just couldn't make it to the white man's promised land with me. They wouldn't understand how to behave in a neighborhood that doesn't have sidewalks and stoops to hang out on.
Now, don't get me wrong. There are some beautiful, beautiful, amazing Black neighborhoods in America. There are.
Shit, Black people don't even brag about Prince George County anymore. I remember in my short adult lifespan, Prince George's County was a place that Black people used to brag on. Yeah, there was one place that, I'm telling you, name one. I was already ahead of you, Trey. Prince George's County, PGC. Niggas used to brag on Prince George's County, if you don't know. In the state of Maryland, because Maryland kind of wraps around the city, the territory of Washington, D.C., a lot of Black wealth that is connected to the D.C. metro area, it matriculates out into the surrounding suburbs. And a lot of the Black folk from wealthy parts of D.C. and also just wealthy Maryland in general and Baltimore and whatnot, they too have moved out to Prince George's County, which at that time, I would argue maybe in the 90s, the early 80s, it was a very uppity, well-to-do, and I mean uppity with all due aspirational respect. You know, I too aspire to be an uppity nigga one day. But I'm just saying, though, Prince George's County was one of those places once upon a time where the better educated, better behaved, better dressed, more accultured Black people would live and congregate, and they wanted to raise their kids there. But what wound up happening is, and I think this might be just an inescapable phenomenon, because there's very little separation between the Black upper class, that 1%, or the talented 10th, as they said it, as W.E.B. Du Bois pointed out, the talented 10th and the lower, the rest of the Black American middle class and lower, there's really not that much room between them. And culturally, there isn't much pressure to like separate behaviorally. And their cousins started to move in. And their cousins' baby daddies and boyfriends started to move in. The baby mamas started to move in. And then, I don't know, does anybody in Prince George's County take Section 8 yet? Like, that is how the dominoes start to fall. And then suddenly, as I am now fully grown, Prince George's County is no longer a place that Black people brag on. It's not like, you know, the Inkwell anymore. Remember that movie with Lawrence Tate back in the day called The Inkwell? And it was about like this kind of, it was like maybe in the 70s, early 80s. It was like a little Black beach town somewhere. It was basically the town that, you know, Polo, Ralph Lauren does like Hampton type ads about, you know, these really cool, chic Black people. It was that type of town with rich Black folk who were just, you know, living along the water. Very, very middle class, white American type of living. Oh, PGC is full of Section 8. Well, there you go. But it's not the Inkwell anymore. It's not that little pocket of, you know, we can have the same exact American dream that white America has anymore. You know, because once upon a time, that was really the idea, right? And it's not that, you know, white people have some magical lock on what it means to be happy in America, but it was things that were denied to Black people, right? The idea that you couldn't live, just simply living, right? The idea that you couldn't live in this manner, that you and your people could never aspire, let alone make it to and manage at this level, right? And so there were Black people who actually did make it to and manage at these levels. And we had these little pockets of dare I say, Black excellence, right? But no more, no more.
But let's just be real. That's not the majority. It's not. Very sad. I want that to change. That's why I have a nonprofit to help these things change. But if you're moving to a better place, it's time to leave old habits. Get in line, get in order. What a concept.
Now, that is a video about differences in Black people just within the context of American culture and the differences that culture becomes on a class level, right? There's a different Black culture on the lower economic end than you would have on the upper middle class and beyond, right? Because frankly, what it takes to actually make it to that level and maintain at that level and maybe, you know, get up a little bit higher up on the ladder even, it requires things of you that you just aren't necessarily even going to conceive of at the lowest economic rungs, right? That's why there's just a huge cultural difference. But again, those are still your American brothers and sisters, right? And even to kind of tie the points together, dare I say, they're still Black with you. All right, imagine my my Black fist in the air. But doesn't matter if they're Black with you because they're not Black like you, right? I'm this type of Black, but those are niggas over there, right? It's that type of thing, right? They're Black with me, but they're not Black like me.
Trying to figure out off the state of what the hell is wrong with looking at yourself as Black first before you're anything else, Black before you're American, Black before, you know, you're anything else. What's wrong with that?
Okay, because all Black people ain't the same. And like, for instance, we all different. So when I say I'm Black, what does that mean? The color of my skin.
Can I interject right there?
No. Black people from New York is different than Black people from the South. Black people from Africa that came over here as immigrants are very different than African Americans. We're all different. We're diverse like anybody else. When white people say,
and you know what? Speaking of Africans and all the other Black people from all the other countries, you know what I find fascinating, and I keep bringing this back up. This idea of Pan-Africanism, that we're all the children of Africa across the African diaspora. If you believe in that whole thing, I'm not going to fight you on this right now. I know how you niggas get. The idea that we're all children of Africa, right? You realize Pan-Africanism is effectively, it's an American Western luxury concept. Pan-Africanism is a luxury belief. Africans in Africa are not Pan-African. Africans who live around nothing but other Africans, if they ever go to war with another country, it's most likely going to be an African neighbor. They're not Pan-African. But you niggas who been eating good, got a steady job and getting educated at the white man college, reading all these books that the white man bought for you, you niggas in this weird ideological act of rebellion, you somehow want to be more African than you are American, when Africans in Africa don't actually even consider you African anymore. If you're not African to actual Africans, how the hell could you be a Pan-African? It is a luxury belief. You niggas got way too much free time on your hands, so you come up with bullshit ideas to play with.
I'm white first. What does that mean?
I would ask that. Forget. I don't want to mean forget white folks, but I'm like, forget. We're not talking about them at this particular moment. Let's stick with black people in this regard. When you talk about the slave trade, and you said we were enslaved and then traded all over the world.
We were enslaved by African kings and queens. And they sold us for like beads and mirrors and bottles of whiskey and whatnot. They wasn't even smart enough to ask for their own white women. You could have at least traded me for a handful of white women. You dumbass niggas didn't even ask for that. You was like, give me whiskey. Give me beads and shit like that.
Who were those people? Black people.
Well,
I'm simply saying if you identify with that from an historical perspective, these are my ancestors. This is what we endured. This is where I come from. And that's what I identify with first, because to some degree, I'm still feeling some remnants of that even in today's society. I'm saying if you identify yourself as black before you identify yourself as American, what you're doing is saying, coming out of the womb, I'm going to be at a disadvantage because I'm in America and I'm going to have to scratch and claw and have an uphill climb.
Well, that's one thing. But also, I just don't want to be black with every melanated person in the world. Am I asking too much by not wanting to be lumped in with every other melanated person in the world? Like, I already got to be lumped in with every other nigga in Brooklyn. You understand what kind of burden that is? You understand the weight I carry on my black shoulders? I got to be lumped in with every other nigga in Brooklyn. Like, that's what happened when you used to get locked up and you go to jail and Rikers or some shit like that. You get locked up, you get sent to Brooklyn House, right? You got to be lumped in with every other nigga in Brooklyn, right? But now I got to be lumped in with every other melanated person around the world, right? We're all somehow family. It's a big ass goddamn house, y'all.
Now, that doesn't mean you give up. That doesn't mean you use it as a crutch. It doesn't mean that you sit up there and use that as a reason to be lackadaisical and have a defeatist attitude and don't work your way and maneuver your way through that terrain in order to get to that point. But it does mean you at least acknowledging that, there are historical, insidious acts that are associated with this particular nation that I live in. And as a result,
why do I have to share in the atrocities that happened in Africa, like after they sold me, like theoretically, right? Imagine, after the Africans sold my African ancestor, right? After they got rid of my great grandpappy Cleophas or whatever. Well, his name would have been like Kunta or some shit like that, right? After they got rid of my great grandfather and they sold him over here to the white man, and now my grandfather over here just hoping that he survive and make it or whatever. Why should I care what happened to the Africans in Africa during that time? Like, I have my own genetic struggles to worry about. You feel me? Like, why should I worry about the trauma and the struggles that them niggas had to deal with after they sold my people over here, right? Somehow we all black together. How come we only all black together in America, though? Think about it. In this nice, civilized Western country full of white people that you niggas trying to get rid of, somehow you can come over here and we all, you know, fist in the air. I'm a nigga like you. We black together, you know, black power and all that. But when you go to these countries where, you know, it's Africa's, or even in the Caribbean, you're not one of them. You're a Mzungu. You're a foreigner. You're basically a white man with dark skin.
I recognize the fact that I'm going to have to march forward, and it's going to be a uphill climb for me to get to where I'm going. If somebody identifies that with blackness, you can do that.
But Stephen A., that's not always true that every black person have to suffer an uphill climb. That's not true. And we'll go back to like what I said. My ancestors came from Nigeria, so I know that, you know, through my ancestry.com research, that my people came over here as slaves. Not every black person in America came from slavery. It wasn't the case. Not every black person in America migrated here and was in the South. Some of them went to the North and were indentured servants, and they never were slaves. Some black people came over here and became slave owners and were not slaves themselves. So it's a very dynamic differentiation between the experience of black people in its totality as existing in America. So me saying I'm black first before I'm an American, I think that's a misnomer. I think that's you're pigeonholing yourself, because if you are going to say I'm black, that means negative. You're putting yourself at a disadvantage, man. And I say I'm an American first because I believe in American values. My ancestors fought that I can be free in this country. All of our ancestors were not the same, didn't come from the same.
You know what? On that note, too, I think it has to be kind of I will just say it directly and plainly, right? I don't know that being black has ever really done anything for anybody in particular. Like, being an American, shit's done great for me, right? But being born black in and of itself, like your mom doesn't love you because she had a black baby, right? Your brothers and your sisters don't love you because your mom had another black kid. Like, I don't know that you're automatically born into like an extended family just because you're black, right? Whereas, like, at the very least, like, the idea of American, it has an actual history and struggle. Even when you tie in the history of slavery, the history of oppression, Jim Crow, even when you tie in all of the black grievances that are a part of American history, that is an American story, right? You are still an American under all of that. You know, the good, the bad, and the ugly, we're all Americans under the flag together, right? And I don't know if being black alone is as heavy as being an American. Because again, when you leave this country and you get around all the other quote unquote black people, you're not one of them. You're an American. You're basically a white man with white man's money.
Didn't come from the same countries, didn't speak the same languages. We are diverse people, and we don't need to be looking at a skin color, because I don't agree with a lot of stuff black people do. We ain't the same people. If you sagging your pants and gang banging and doing stuff that you're not supposed to, we ain't the same. If you doing the right thing and raising your kids and having a family and doing all that stuff, then we are more similar. I have more similarities with white people than I do with some black people. So I don't wake up out of the womb and I think about my kids.
And here's the thing, culturally, and hell, even genetically at this point, we probably have, in Black America, we have more in common with your average white American than you do with your you know, Nigerians and your Ghanaians and your Ivory Coast, whatever countries you want to name, your Tanzanians, your Congolese. You probably have, on average, a lot more in common with white America than you would do with these people, culturally and even genetically at this point. At this point, Black America is effectively a genetically distinct subgroup. We're an offshoot of the American population. Not offshoot is probably the wrong word, but you get what I'm saying. We're a contained subgroup that is genetically distinct from any pure African lineage. We're too heavily admixed at this point to actually be Pan-African genetically. We're no longer genetically Pan-African. We're Pan-American at this point. And this idea that we're all somehow like effectively black together, even in the context of America, where there's all these regional differences and cultural differences because of class and income, they tie us together politically with the idea of blackness.
Racial redistricting. On the campaign, you literally are taking Memphis, which is a city that with black voters, and you split it in three, stretching 3,000 miles.
Who's the current Democrat congressman there? What is it? A black congressman?
Just because black people are allowed to like people that don't look like them.
Exactly, and that is the point I wanted you to make, because just because you're not going to have a black congressman, why is it that a Republican can't do just as well representing black voters as a Democrat?
Because
why
they aren't electing.
Why does your race determine your politics?
It doesn't. No, you're making my point, actually. The assumption is black people. No. The assumption is black people will only elect black people. No, black people are smart enough to elect.
The assumption.
No, let me finish. Black people. Let me finish. Black people will elect people who will actually represent them, who have their best interests in heart. And what Republicans have done in Tennessee is dismantle the power for black people to have their voice. They did the same thing in Texas, because they said they thought Latinos were going to swing for Republicans. There are black people that are represented. I'm black and I got a Republican president right now. Black people don't elect black people based on race. They elect people that are aligned with their beliefs in justice. And Biden just took that away from them in Tennessee and in other states.
I just disagree that the only kind of a politician.
She just spoke about black people as if black people have like a self-contained, unique moral system. They're going to vote for these black people because they share the same moral black beliefs. Like, I really don't understand what that means, because when you start to probe at it, it takes you to an uncomfortable place. But the issue I have is just how far people really do want to go with this black identity issue. We've been talking about the Carmelo Anthony trial pretty much ad nauseum for the last week or two. And, I'm kind of tired of it, but I did think it was fascinating to kind of watch it from afar and to take note of the deeply hostile racial overtones that a lot of black folk were operating in regards to Carmelo Anthony, because this is how near and dear the identity and frankly the religion, the pseudo religion of blackness is to people, right? And this is something that I've learned going just being a content creator and absorbing a lot of content myself over the years. Generally speaking, in Black America, they are more accepting of you if you're gay than if you're like a right-wing black man, or if you date white women. If you're right-wing, if you're Republican, if you're conservative, or if you date white women, gay black men are more loved and respected and accepted than you would be in Black America. MAGA son or a gay son, y'all? Which one do you choose? The nigga turned iridescent gay. Not just regular gay, but like a gay beam of light gay, right? He's a rainbow-colored beam of light. This nigga turned into a prism.
Because at least if I have a gay son, I know he can still be a good person.
This is a relatively commonly held feeling in the community.
Yeah, what are they coming to church doing? Being gay!
Which brings me back to the Haitian community. Are we really supposed to care?
And look, this has been going on for over a dozen years. Go home. Get out. We know our country's better than yours. That's because we filled it with our work ethic and our culture and our values. You being here only dilutes it for us, those who built it and live it. And half of you people, more than half, you won't assimilate. We don't want you. We don't care if you're offended. Get out.
Again, I think we use the word assimilation with far too much hope. We are far too hopeful that people will just come to America and be American. It really is like a magic dirt theory. Are you guys familiar with the magic dirt theory? It's a liberal belief that basically goes like this. You know, you become the dirt you're standing on, right? So if you're standing on American dirt, you become American. I know it's retarded, right? But that's basically what assimilation asks you to believe.
With our work ethic and our culture and our values, you being here only dilutes it for us, those who built it and live it. And half of you people, more than half, you won't assimilate. We don't want you. We don't care if you're offended. Get out. Go home. Go back to fucking Haiti. Sorry.
You guys are pissing off the suburban middle-class white women, okay? Jesus Christ, this is how bad it's getting. The white women are starting to get upset, y'all.
I'm thinking about our friends in Ohio who've been dealing with these TPS Haitians for years now, who are drunk driving all over their towns and killing people. This is the whole cats and dogs thing. Like, they don't want to live like Americans live. And this was supposed to be it was supposed to be temporary help. And it's turned into another backdoor way of allowing someone permanent residency here. And they take advantage of all of our public services and our.
And ultimately, that's what it boils down to. They are taking advantage. They take your kindness for weakness. It is a matter of just human behavior. When people spot weakness, they exploit it. And we are presenting ourselves as weak and effectively victims waiting to happen. And so, of course, these people from these hard countries where they have gang warfare and all types of horrible crimes and they eat God knows what, of course, they come to America and they just do whatever the hell they want because we give them free money and we pay them and all that. But thank you to President Trump for actually putting his foot down. You know, of course, it took, an angry white man to do it. I don't know why none of the black politicians believe in that kind of shit.
You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
I had to get a good workout in before I deliver these yard signs. I'm going to deliver some yard signs today. So if you ordered one on my website, I will be coming to your house. Just have a bottle of water for me. I was just thinking, man, this whole TPS thing, talking to my good friend Disco Rick. I love him to death. And we were just talking about them coming in to our district, and they're going to come in and try to sweep up all the Haitians who are here on temporary status. They're going to go into Belgrade, Bohoki, try to sweep up all the Haitians who work the field, who are here on temporary status. Now, mind you, those are good people, and that's why I'm trying to be the congressman to be able to protect their status in this district and in this country. But here's the plan, because they always have a plan, like me and Rick were just talking about. They always have a plan. So what's their plan? If they go in Belgrade, Bohoki, sweep up all the Haitians over there, there are African Americans still there. Who are they going to ask to go to the field? Who are they going to ask to go to the field? We know that in the service industry here in Florida, in South Florida particularly, who's cooking the food? Haitian Americans. I call them Haitian Americans because they're Americans. Who's doing the work? Who's in the service industry? Who's doing the beds? Who's cleaning the households on the $1 million islands? Haitian Americans. So when they sweep these folks up, send them back to a country that they know nothing about, who are they going to ask to do those jobs? Black people. So when they pull out the 2020 plan and Kamala Harris told you about it, and the kids in college were saying, yeah, y'all black people going back to the fields. Y'all going back to cleaning our houses. Y'all going back to being our nanny. Y'all going back to making our beds. Seems like that's the plan. Seems like that's the plan.
You mean good paying jobs that people normally do anyway? Hotel work, farm work, housekeeping. So when black people have those jobs are like slavery basically, right? But when Haitians have those jobs, all of a sudden they're hardworking members and proud, respected people who contribute to the economy.
So people always ask me, so why are you running for Congress? I'm running for Congress to protect African Americans, Haitian Americans, Bahamians, Jamaicans, Caribbean.
When you say African Americans and Haitian Americans, right? Do you mean the Haitians that just got over here? Because I understand that there is an actual, like, you know, a descendant population of black folk who are Haitians and they've been here for a while. Like, I'm not necessarily saying we deport every single one who speaks French. Like, getting rid of every nigga that speaks French is a little bit too far. But I just noticed a little bit of mission creep.
Cubans, y'all on that list too. And they asked me that stupid question. And I say to them, which one of these career politicians I'm running against are going to fight for you? That's the big question.
But he want to fight for Haiti. You want to fight for Cubans and whatnot.
You better identify with your black. And why? What you mean why? Everybody else identify with your black.
I know, but that make it right because everyone else doing it.
Listen, red birds identify with red birds. Bluebirds identify with bluebirds. Zebras identify as zebras.
Amazing.
How you go not identify what you are?
So what do you think about the blacks that are into their identity? They're into being black, their color, and they're using that as an identity. What do you think about that? They're into their blackness.
Whatever person identify with, it don't bother me. I identify with what's right, but I relate to what's black. I don't eat white people cooking. They don't cook like me. They don't season their food like me. White people don't put grease in their hair. So
you think it's okay to be into your blackness? Is that the right way to live?
Yeah, why wouldn't it be? White people into they white, Mexicans into they Mexican, Chinese into they Chinese.
You know, actually, that is statistically just not true. And it's been like studied and documented on very, very many levels. European Western people, white European Christianized people, as a general rule, have a higher out-group preference. That is the term that's associated with this phenomenon, an out-group preference, which actually means in clinical terms, they are far more open and welcoming of a stranger, a person who is not of their racial group. Now, when it comes to, like I was talking about the Asians a couple of streams back and how Asians are notoriously open with their racism, right? And they're not even gonna be totally like impolite to you on every turn, but they don't hide their racial ideas and their own inherent race sense of racial superiority, right? You know, black people in America are slowly waking up to the phenomenon of Mexican racism, right? The idea that these people come from Mexico and they speak Spanish and they hate black people just like white people allegedly do. More, in fact, even, right? I bet you on a prison level, there is probably way more violence between blacks and Mexicans than there is blacks and whites. And I don't even have anything to base that on. I'm just kind of, from what I know of this big ball of wax that we call America, That's just probably a far more common encounter because the blacks and the Mexicans rub shoulders in the general world a lot more than they would with, black and white, or maybe even Mexican and white, right? Because it's economics, it's, just urban housing and planning and whatnot. But as a general rule, and this is what a lot of what a lot of Black Americans struggle with, basically, this idea that technically of all the other race, let's assume that, they say the whole world is anti-Black, right? Have you guys heard that? Put a 1 in the chat if you've heard that. If you heard Black people saying that the whole world hates Black people. Put a 1 in the chat. And shout out to everybody listening to the show. Please like, share, and subscribe. I didn't even say that when I started the stream up, but remember to do all the things: like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to support the show, please click the link in the chat to the Buy Me a Coffee website, buymeacoffee.com, or donate to the show at on Venmo at The Hoodservative. But please like, share, and subscribe, and support the show while you're here.
Give me the money. Give me the money for all that I would do. Give me the money.
So a lot of the pro-Blacks are of the mindset that the whole world hates Black people, right? That's what they believe. The world is anti-Black, right? Now, even if you were to operate with that extreme belief that it's the whole world that hates niggas, right? The reality is, and I think there's just a lot of historical evidence to kind of prove this, especially in the modern day when a lot of people are interacting more. Once again, white, European, westernized, Christianized people have more of a track record of just quote unquote benevolence toward the other, Black people in particular, than other people have towards Black folk. Again, everybody else is openly anti-Black. At the very least, most white people have the decency to make it against the law and socially taboo to hate niggas in public, right? That is the general concept, right? In most white places, it is against the law, or at least socially taboo, to just generally hate niggas. But in a place like China, hell, even in parts of Japan, they probably be like, oh, no, niggas.
But does it make it right, though?
Yeah, make it right.
In what way?
What you mean? Everybody else is in the day. Why wouldn't we be in the house? Shit, you talking about why? Listen, I ain't with that Dr. King shit. Everywhere I went, and I'm all Black, I ain't getting treated like to go treat me. But listen, you better identify with your Black.
And why?
What you mean, why? Everybody else identify with your Black.
I know, but does that make it right because everyone else doing it?
Listen, red birds identify with red birds. Bluebirds identify with bluebirds. Zebras identify as zebras.
Amazing.
How you go not identify what you are? Nature. You didn't get to pick this.
Did you ever hate white people?
Yeah.
And do you still hate them?
But nothing. No, I didn't.
There's another concept, right? You didn't get to pick being an American, right? But a lot of people before you fought and died to maintain, the principles and the physical land territory that we call America. I don't know that anybody fought and died for quote unquote Blackness until you get something like, the civil rights movement, Up until very recently in the American, history, do we have this sort of Black identity that's kind of born really in America? Because up until that point, almost everybody in the world, frankly, identified with their nation, their tribe or family, and their religious leaning, So you are a Moroccan Muslim and your father's name is Muhammad, right? That's how most people identified themselves in the world up until very recently, in the grand scheme of things. This idea that your racial identity is your actual identity is a very, very new concept. And again, Africans are not Pan-African. So it's mostly Black Americans in America attempting to create an identity out of whole cloth. And it just doesn't hold up on the edges.
Hate them then. It was just a thought because that's what you hear.
And how did you see white people at the time that you hated them? What made you hate them?
Listening to bullshit as a kid. Same reason white people fear Black people. Listening to their bullshit uncles and granddaddy. We don't get to know one another.
No, I don't think that's why white people fear Black people. I think there's a bunch of different reasons why white people fear Black people, and it's not all bullshit.
If you think I'm here to play around with y'all, goddamn I'm not. All right.
You teach me all my life that the white man is the devil?
What the hell is that? Come on,
You teach me my whole life that the white man is the devil. Now you tell me it's all right for him to come among us.
Everybody must eat. Everybody must eat. Everybody must eat. Everybody must eat. Yes.
Until we grow up and start going to school, going to college, getting our own jobs. But in the beginning, we sitting around at Christmas, hearing our uncles say some racist, hearing our racist granddaddy say some white people sitting around hearing racist, Black folks sitting around hearing prejudice. Ain't no verse versa. So what happens is children mimic what they see and repeat what they hear, whether it's right or wrong. So even a little white kid, he don't know what the fuck he's saying. Same with the little Black boy. I got a racist teacher. You don't know racism. Most Black people don't know racism because racism is so hidden in the fabrics of this country. You don't know.
Now it's hidden in the fabric of this country. Racism is like the cotton woven into America's hoodie, right? This country has probably been the best place to be Black that has ever existed. All right. You would rather be Black in America right now than be a regular nigga in Mansa Musa's kingdom. All right. You would rather be just an average Black American in 2026 than you'd rather be an average nigga walking around Mansa Musa's hood. But somehow, you know what it is really too? Something about the so-called Black identity, it's at war with the American identity, right? You have to choose one. You have to put one over the other. And not only that, you ultimately have to reject the American identity because you're so Black. And what that creates is a lack of appreciation. Like, I guarantee you've probably gotten far more benefit out of, life in general for the fact that you were born in America as opposed to the fact that you were born, quote unquote, Black. And I'll double down on that. Being born Black in America, you probably had a better time than you would have ever been being born Black anywhere else in the world that's actually Black.
No, it's there, motherfucker, but it's there.
How did you
It's so
overcome
hidden.
hated whites?
Oh, I started white girls at an early age. Yeah, I started on white girls at an early. I ain't bullshit. My mama moved. Listen, I'm one of the first to live among white folks in the 80s. My mama.
He is such a nigga. The power of white coochie cleansed him of his anti-white racism, y'all. I guess nature is healing. I don't know what to tell you.
When I die, I'ma go to Snow Bunny Heaven. Snow Bunny Heaven.
So South Africans are Africans. They are citizens of the nation of South Africa. They reside on the continent of Africa. For decades, this country, they are African. Whether they are white or Black, they are African. And for decades, this country has taken in millions of refugees from several African nations that have been destabilized. Somalia, so much so that we've changed the entire demographic of a U.S. state. But Somalia, Eritrea, South Sudan, Democratic Republic of the Congo.
What do all those places have in common?
We've taken in millions.
Yeah, well, what do all those places have in common,
So
Caroline?
now we're taking in.
You know what's funny? As much as Black people pretend to love their Black identity and I'm Black and I'm proud and all that, They get really confused when white people even pretend to care about other white people. Look at the confused look on his face. The nigga look like he doing Chinese arithmetic right now.
White or black, they are African. And for decades, this country has taken in millions of refugees from several African nations that have been destabilized. Somalia, so much so that we've changed the entire demographic of a U.S. state. But Somalia, Eritrea, South Sudan, Democratic Republic of the
all
Congo.
those places have in common?
We've taken in millions.
So we can take in all these black Africans and everybody's all right with it because you niggas love black Africans, but suddenly you can't take in white Africans and niggas get confused. They're like, what do you mean white Africans? Yeah, bro, I know. It's fascinating, right? White Africans, I know. Nature's amazing.
What do all those places have in common, Caroline?
So now we're taking in, what they all have in common is every single one of those nations that I just listed, including South Africa, are African countries.
No,
and we've taken in millions from
That's
the others,
actually
but we're
not
taking
it.
in 6,000
that
from
they
South
have in
Africa,
common
and everyone's
is that all of those
Caroline,
countries
you know what's going on here, and actually
we're experiencing war,
and it's embarrassing.
famine,
When we've
civil
taken in
war.
millions,
You name
all
it.
across so embarrassing.
It
All are African.
It is not that, okay? Obviously, right?
If people are fleeing war and famine, when was the last time Mexico was at war and starving? You know, I'm not like the best. I don't claim to know every detail of world history, but when was the last time the country of Mexico, when was the last time they were at war and hungry? We sure got a lot of hungry Mexicans in here in America, though.
Those are places where there is actual conflict, where there is actual war, where people are actually being killed. Trump is basically saying the only people who we will let into this country are white people.
Yeah,
they're
African. He basically, no. Whether they are white or
Yeah,
black,
they're not
African.
white. They're Africans. Why is that so hard for you people to understand? They are not white. They are actually Africans. We've been flooding this country with all kind of Africans, all right? Light-skinned Africans, eggplant, black Africans, funny turban-headed Africans, even fucking Somalians, y'all. We've been flooding this country with all manner of Africans, and you niggas ain't said a word. Suddenly, you don't like these Africans.
Well, Caroline,
you are making us look ridiculous right now. You are making us look ridiculous. This is a completely racist argument. You can keep talking, but it's completely racist. If I say only white people are allowed in, it's racist. It is racist. And then they gave them a gift bag of basically white Christian supremacist propaganda.
Okay, all right,
I don't know why you're going on about this. It makes us look absolutely idiotic.
Back up. Josh, back up. This is like I don't even know where to start with this. Is this how you actually feel? Like are you giving your real opinions right now? I feel like this is not how you actually feel about this.
The United States has had an extremely generous refugee policy in regards to several African nations. Now that South Africa is one of them, there's a problem.
Oh. Suddenly you niggas not paying African no more? Suddenly you niggas don't like Africans. When I don't like Africans, everybody looks at me like I did something wrong. Everybody look at me like I farted at the funeral. But all of a sudden, you niggas don't like Africans, and it's totally fine. It's not even a big deal.
When was the problem when we were taking in millions from every other destabilized African?
And it's embarrassing.
This is very deliberately obtuse, I would say. I'm going to kind of skip over some of this and say...
Can somebody explain the expropriation act then in South Africa and what's going on?
We don't want to do that,
Caroline. Caroline, the first thing about that is that what you're saying, that expropriation act, no property has been expropriated. You know that, right?
No, that's not true.
It is true.
You read the executive order.
Hold on. No property has actually been expropriated.
I think there's 6,000 South Africans that would beg to differ.
You're talking about something that is basically hypothetical when here's the reality.
And, you know, this is another thing I think is interesting. You know, speaking of the white South Africans, the Afrikaners and all that, I'm not going to get too into the whole politics of it all, but the very idea of civil rights in America can be summed up as Black folk asking white Americans to care, to see their shared humanity and to care. Black people do not care. We do not care. Not a goddamn drop. Not one bit, not one little bit. I swear to God, all the care that white folk, all the generosity, all the feed the children, all the fresh air fund, all the let me be nice to this little nigga movements that white people have started over the years. Black folk, we do not care. No sympathy for white struggles. We don't even believe white people go through things as a group. As a group, Black people think white folk are just all collectively just waiting to cash in on their white supremacy game.
We're the whites. Nobody ever cares if bad things happen to us anymore.
Isn't it interesting? I from just as a human being, I think it's fascinating, and I have a hard time putting myself in the mindset of a person who is demanding another person to care about them and their interests and their needs, while at the same time having zero care, actually having malicious, hostile intent toward the very person that you expect and demand no less to care for you and your needs. But yeah, we do not care.
Of life in South Africa. 3 decades after apartheid, which apartheid means that Black people were subjected to laws that prevented them from living as equal citizens. Black South Africans, who account for more than 80% of the country's 63 million people, face far higher unemployment than their white counterparts, 35.8% compared to 8%, okay? White households average almost 5 times more wealth than Black families. So, okay, in South Africa, I'm sure they have plenty of problems internally, but this idea that there is a genocide happening in South Africa against white people is fictitious. Here's one person who was brought into this country as a refugee. He says he left behind a Jaguar sports car, a Range Rover, and what he estimates to be property worth at least $300,000. He plans to sell them all so that he can come to the United States as a refugee. Meanwhile, we're saying to Americans, don't go to Haiti because you might die, but we want to send 350,000
Haiti is absolutely a wonderful and safe country. If you're Haitian, all right? If you're a Haitian, Haiti is an amazing place. You would love it there. Everybody speaks your language. Everybody looks just like you.
Nigerians come here as students, majority. So I'm just trying to paint a picture of how they come in as student visas.
Speaking of South Africa, even in South Africa, they don't like other Africans. Can you imagine that? Didn't I tell you Pan-Africans aren't even Pan-African?
Nigerians come here as students, majority. So I'm just trying to paint a picture of how they come in as student visas. So there's a young boy who passed away. I don't know how he passed away not too long ago. So Nigerians are trying to get money for him to go home. Or that boy who tragically passed away as an Uber driver. So he came in the country.
Well, he was killed. He didn't pass away.
No, he was killed.
He was killed.
No, it was a crime issue.
It was a crime. Yes.
Let's
no, I'm just saying he was killed. No, that was crime.
Killed because
no, it was crime.
It was
by
a crime
somebody
issue.
In the car, a driver, a passenger that he killed.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And that was very tragic. Nobody advocates for that. But when they found out his documents, he came as a student. He never went to study a day in his life. And when he was now trying to work, he was working using someone else's identity. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm trying to paint a picture of how people come into the country. So there's I think they said about 4,000 student visas had been issued. And all of these people are not students.
So even in South Africa, the Africans don't like the other Africans. Apparently, they don't all just get along and sing Kumbaya under the tree. And just for shits and giggles and for no other reason, I'm going to drop this clip on you guys too. You know, we talked about the Haitians in Haiti eating mud cakes. I forgot the word for it. Mr. O kept saying the word earlier and I didn't understand what he meant right away. But yeah, they eat mud cakes, right? I will see you a whole bag of mud cake and raise you one mosquito patty. Yeah, they eat mosquito patties, y'all. Like little black sausages, they fry them up in everything. I mean, if you cook them enough, I bet you kill all the germs and shit, right? I mean, look at that boy. He looked happy enough. Look at him. That's the face you'd make when your daddy hands you a freshly cooked mosquito patty right off the pan. That shit was still hot, had the grease dripping down his fingers. Look, he looks happy. Mosquito patties, y'all. They not like us. They not like us. Trust. They not like us. They not like us.
This devastating decision isn't just devastating for those who are on TPS from Syria and Haiti, but for all people on temporary protective status. And the important thing for people to realize is this won't just shock and devastate people on TPS, but families. And not just families, but whole communities. And not just whole communities, but our entire country. Because those here on TPS are part of our nation. These are our neighbors. These are our friends. These are our kids' friends. These are the people who sit next to your kids in the classroom. These are our caregivers. 1/5 of caregivers in this country for seniors are Haitians. This is going to send shock waves that all Americans will feel, and everybody should care, because TPS itself, the concept of it, temporary protective status, that the persecution you're fleeing, that the horrible conditions you're fleeing from your country, we have told you, you can be with us while we work together on that. It's supposed to be an American concept, that we're a safe haven for people in the world. But Donald Trump not only wants to denigrate that, but he talks about American exceptionalism. I would say TPS is one of the things that makes America exceptional. And this horrible Supreme Court decision is in line with what Donald Trump wants to do. He is trying to rid our country of Black and brown people. And he's trying to make more people undocumented, ripping away their status. I got to tell you, since this decision came through, I've been on the phone with people in my community. And one of the top concerns from parents and families is they keep asking me, what about my kids? What about guardianship? I'm worried that tomorrow I'm going to get picked up. I'm worried maybe I'm just going to leave myself, but what do I do with my kids? When decisions like this are handed down, and when administrations like this do what they're doing at TPS, it shows that they don't see our neighbors as human.
You know, this whole Haitian TPS deal, and I've known this for a while now, but I just want to reiterate this to the audience. We got a lot of people watching here. Thank you for coming out tonight. Like the video, guys. The problem with being Black first is that ultimately you're America last. All of your Black politicians are actually working on behalf of anybody but Black America. And the entire reason why we have a thing called the Congressional Black Caucus is because we wanted Black people to be represented in the American government. And now these people are all working on behalf of people who are not born here.
They're trying to dehumanize them and otherize them and make a second class of citizenship, a second class of people in this country. But we're not going to stand for it. Not only are we going to fight to make sure this passes through the Senate, but we're going to mobilize with people in the streets across this country, clergy, caretakers, workers, organizers, to say we want TPS protected, because the United States Congress, the House of Representatives, more than half of us came together and voted yes on Representative Ayanna Pressley's legislation. We have spoken, the people have spoken. We hope the Senate will do its job, and we will continue to fight. And to our Haitian brothers, sisters, and siblings, please know you're not alone. We're with you. That's right. We love you. We know this is a scary time. We're not going to act like it's not scary. But please know that there are people in DC fighting with and for you, not in front of you, not behind you, but along.
They're fighting for Haitians, but not Americans.
Donald Trump stated, "We don't want them, not one." Those were his 2018 statements when he referred to Haiti as a shithole country. Today, the Supreme Court issued a ruling ending TPS for Haitians and Syrians.
You know, as I watch pretty much every single Black elected official, every Democrat, every Black Democrat, every goddamn one of you people, they all are campaigning for foreigners effectively. The idea of being Black first has now been weaponized against you, so they can now be Black on behalf of people who are not born here. And the only thing that I can really think of to kind of spite these people, I will vote for white people until the day I die. I will vote for everything that you consider racism. I want redneck Billy Bob and them. I want his racist white wife. I'm voting for racist rednecks and Karens until I die.
Basically saying that Haiti
or until you niggas get the message, whatever comes first.
Haiti and Syria are safe to return to. You and I know that's not the case. Haitians and Syrians contribute so much to our country and our state. They are key to the healthcare industry here in Florida remaining functional. They are key to many of our seniors receiving the care that they need. They deserve permanent citizenship today. They're already paying taxes and contributing to our country. The TPS bill granting citizenship is stuck in the Senate because senators like Ashley Moody are not taking action to protect our constituents.
I'm voting for all the Ashleys, all the Bethanies, all the Melanies. I'm voting for them. Hell, at this point, I might as well even vote for a Mexican too. Might as well get in on the ground before it gets too late. Got to start making contacts with the new power base because these niggas clearly ain't looking out for me.
The Florida senators who represent the people should urgently step up and vote yes on Senate Bill 4814 that would extend TPS for Haitians and Syrians. I'm the senator of the people and I would vote yes.
Yeah,
I am urging every Floridian today.
When did we, as Black people, never mind white folk, I know white people, y'all been all over the world. You got your own history with these people. Whatever. Who knows why white people care about Syria? But Black folk, Black America, why do you give a shit about Syria? Explain that to me on a Black level. Like, can we just sit down and chop it up about Syria for a little bit? Like, why do you niggas give a shit about what happens to them Arabs, y'all? Help me out here.
To call Ashley Moody and Rick Scott and tell them to vote yes. I think it's also important to note that Ashley Moody was not elected. She was appointed by Ronald Dion DeSantis, someone who does not care about people who are often marginalized. I am the senator of the people. I will fight to ensure that Haitians and Syrians continue to have a permanent place to stay here.
What about the people who live here now, though?
And I bring forth the voices of the Haitian community. We woke up this morning in fear of what that means. Family separation, deportation, and those are the realities. We have TPS holders who have been in this country calling the United States home for the past 10, 15, 20 years. They are our doctors, caregivers, attorneys, taxi drivers, the immigrants who keep these United States of ours moving. Today, the Supreme Court sent a blow to the community, to all immigrants, but we stand firm, undeterred, strong to let the community know and all immigrants know that we will not be defeated. And I bring forth the voices of the Haitian community. We woke up.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of places are going to be hiring pretty soon, y'all. If you're looking for work, just hold on, buddy. Opportunities are coming.
The first word in TPS is temporary. It's always supposed to be temporary. And specifically in regards to the Haitians who have come here, the first batch came, I think, in 2010 after the earthquake in Haiti. It's been 16 years since the earthquake. So that's not temporary. And at what point, by American standards, are we going to decide that Haiti is livable again? When's that day coming? Is that coming in 6 months? Is that coming in a year? Probably not anytime soon. And one thing that doesn't get
right. Haiti will never be livable by American standards. All right. I think we just need to accept that. Haiti is only livable by Haitian standards. And that's a whole other thing. We live in America. We go to barbecues and ball games and shit. They don't really have time for things like that in most of Haiti. So it's a whole other standard of living that we're just not accustomed. We are actually not prepared to judge their standards in Haiti because it's for the Haitians. And so I say we let the Haitians raise their own standard of living. And then maybe one day we'll be like, damn, that's a nice place. It's just like America.
It talked about is some of these TPS recipients, not all, but some, have been doctors, lawyers, engineers, teachers who left Haiti. How is Haiti as a nation supposed to rebuild itself when we've brain drained a lot of their talent and planted them in Springfield, Ohio, where it's not fair to the residents?
Please, dear God, don't tell me that all the Haitians that are in America right now are the smart ones. Oh, God, help me. Oh, help me. These are the smart ones? Oh, God. You know what? Damn. Maybe, you know what? Shit. These are the smart ones. I gotta say it, I gotta put a positive spin on it, right? These are the smart ones. You know what I mean? You gotta say it like it's a good thing. You gotta say that shit like it's a beneficial, like these are the best that they could do. Remember when Trump said they're not sending their best? Haiti is. Yeah. You got to say it like it's helpful and positive, right? Haiti is sending their best, God damn it. It's the best they could do.
Of Springfield, Ohio either. And as a nation, we are legally obligated to our own citizens before we're obligated to anybody else. Springfield, Ohio, notice how the migrants they're never brought to Nantucket. They're never brought to Beverly Hills. They're never brought to Martha's Vineyard. They're never going to go compete with hedge fund bros who inherited the job from their dad. They're always going to be brought to middle America, places like Springfield, Ohio, where they're going to have to compete with Americans.
Why didn't you drop the Haitians in San Francisco? You could have dropped them over there in Frisco. You know what Frisco needs? A little Haiti.
Just depreciate those wages. I'm sure, does anybody at this table, have you heard the name Aiden Clark, an 11-year-old boy? No, you guys don't know his name?
Here we go.
11-year-old boy
killed
again. By a Haitian immigrant under TPS.
Oh, here we go again. As soon as she started talking about the little white kid that the Haitian killed, probably in a car accident or something crazy like that, the black dude, here we go again. What did I just tell you? A few minutes ago? As much as he wants white people to love him and care about him and forget that he's funny looking and gay, he doesn't care about about the white people that he wants, sympathy from.
We're the whites. Nobody ever cares if bad things happen to us anymore.
We do not care.
No American driver's license, who rammed his car into a bus, killed 11-year-old Aiden, and injured 20 school children. Who is this good for?
Okay.
Not the Haitians, not the American people.
I love how they cherry.
It breaks my heart. It's very. I have lots of my close family members that are CPS holders, and they're depending on this because they have kids to feed, and they've been in the U.S. for a long time. So this is literally their home. They don't know how they're going to provide for their families.
Whoa! Stop! I know this place. I used to get off this train all the time. Newkirk, Nostrand and Newkirk. Holy shit. Damn. That's where my baby mama used to live. No. My baby mama neighborhood is Little Haiti now. Get the fuck out of here. Holy shit. That shit was not Little Haiti 10 years ago, last time I had to get off that train. God damn, it was longer than I haven't. It's been more than 10 years since I even had to take that train because neither one of us be over there no more. She don't live around there, neither do I. But damn, Nostrand and Newkirk, like, yo, I know this neighborhood. Oh shit. I used to be on that train, the 2 train, the 5 train. That shit is Little Haiti now. Get the fuck out of here. Wow. That can't be Little Haiti now. No, bro. Damn, son. That shit was all pure D Jamaicans before. It was Jamaicans and it was Crips. A lot of them was like Jamaican too. That's who you run into when you get off the train over there. You run into Jamaicans and you run into Crips because that whole neighborhood was like cripped out low key. It was Jamaican criminals and gangbangers wearing blue t-shirts and shit. And now they're Haitians. Now it's sac passe. All you know what? You know what's crazy? I think that's because I never actually went to Juve. That's probably why. That's why Juve is so big over there now. So many goddamn Haitians. Juve is like this thing they have. I think it's like the night before like the Labor Day parade or something like that, or Memorial Day. I forget exactly which day. Somebody in the chat, if you're a Black New Yorker, which night is Juve? Is it before Labor Day or Memorial Day? It's like a night that they have over in that part of Brooklyn, down in Flatbush. And again, like I said, I never ever was a part. I never went out to the Juve shit because when I was younger, Flatbush was basically like Jamaican. Like the Labor Day parade that they would have, it would be like, the Black version of Puerto Rican Day. That's where all of like Flatbush would come out. And a lot of them, almost the majority of them were Jamaicans once upon a time. Now, apparently it's like the whole Caribbean is there, except for the Spanish part. All of the Black Caribbean is out there. And the little Haitians have kind of built up a little enclave there. It's the night before Labor Day. Thank you. Yeah, that's why they have Juve out there, because it's basically Little Haiti now. Get out. I didn't realize that shit. Little Haiti. Damn.
They're home. They don't know how they're going to provide for their families because people work jobs. They have work permits that depends on TPS.
Look, it says Black owned in the window. But what kind of Black are you talking about, though? I feel like that white guy in that American Civil War meme, what kind of American are you,
Some of them, they like to live a terrible life when they go back in the country. They go back to country, terrible life.
We do not care. We do not care.
And they have to start over again, like zero.
The so-called international community has always chosen our leaders. So they have, they cannot deny us a great.
No, you from the Bronx, bro. You don't have a little Haitian enclave. Because the 2 train does run, the 2 and the 5 both, they do run all the way from Brooklyn to the Bronx, basically. But you on the opposite end of the 2 train, Clay. And actually, low key, that is the literal opposite end of the 2 train, because Nostrand and Newkirk, there's only like 1 or 2 more stops. Actually, the very next stop is Flatbush Junction. That is the very next stop. Like when people in New York City say they're going out to Flatbush, that's literally where they're talking about. And by the way, that whole neighborhood used to be like Italian once upon a time, I believe. It was like Jews and Italians, I think. Actually, the Jewish still have their part of Flatbush. There's like a little tiny enclave of Jewish people that at the way back at the end of Flatbush. I forget, there's like literally a street. You cross that street and the neighborhood changes like dramatically. Like everything changes dramatically once you cross that street. But the Italians basically pulled out, and the Jewish, they still have their property or whatever there. But that whole area is basically called Flatbush. And when you get off that train, Clay, there's only 1 more train station after that, and that's the end of the whole 2 and 5 line.
degree of responsibility into this catastrophe that Haiti has been. So returning Haitians to Haiti is returning to a life of certain calamity, abuses or death.
Yeah, again, brother, we do not care.
My question to the Supreme Court: what exactly am I going to say to those 100,000 children who were born here and whose parents are on CPS and can be at any time deported? What should be my answer? And my work is.
Hey, you know what, TC? I hear that is actually a thing too. I haven't really been covering it all that much, but I actually have been hearing about that a little bit too. A lot of property deed things happening. You know, a lot of deeds getting snatched right out from under people. It's a lot going on, man.
That you have a child. If you don't have a child, you have a nephew, you have a cousin, and you know how deeply connected parents are to their children. And for you to sit on this highest Supreme Court desk and make such a terrible, horrible decisions, to me, this is not acceptable. And I think this is the time for all of us.
I can't understand you. You're too angry. You're too Haitian. I can't understand. I don't know what this woman is talking about.
When we're talking about TPS for Haiti, many people have had it since the earthquake in 2010. That means they have children who are U.S. citizens, who do not speak a lick of Creole, who know no other place but the United States of America as their home. What this administration is doing, sanctioned by the Supreme Court, is reckless. It is racist. It is xenophobic. How are we welcoming with open arms?
How is it racist to tell Haitians to go back to Haiti? I could see if you told Haitians to go fuck off back to like Jamaica or something. All right, maybe that's a little bit racist, right? If you told the Haitians they had to all go to Congo, didn't Trump actually make that a part of the immigration rule where we're gonna just start deporting people to like Congo and shit like that? I could have sworn that was a thing. Didn't we send that one Kilmar guy to like Sierra Leone or some wild shit? I don't know. I forgot about what happened to that guy. Well, how is it racist to send the Haitians back to Haiti?
White South Afrikaners, but closing our doors to anyone who is black, brown, or Muslim. Make it make sense. It does not. We have a moral obligation to live up to the project of democracy that this country is supposed to be. We are celebrating 250 years of this country. And unless you are indigenous to this land, Native American, or brought here via chattel slavery, everyone else has an immigrant story. Everyone else has an immigrant story.
You know, I'm gonna wrap this one up here really quickly, but I just gotta say though, just in conclusion, and don't hate me. I'm gonna, you know, I have a way with words. I put things in a particular frame because, you know, it's my thing. But I just want you to understand, if I'm gonna leave you with something, and I don't want you to mistake what I'm saying here. And also for shits and giggles, I just want to put this one up on the screen as we're talking, because the Haitians ate all their white people, and now they're here to eat ours. And this is what we have to do as the Haitians are getting loaded up on the planes and the boats to get sent back to Haiti. Just point and look. They came here to eat all our white people. They filled up. They ate every last one of their white people, and now they're here to fill up on ours. They have to go back. You can't have ours. We didn't eat all our white people. We're actually using them for cool shit. You can't have ours. You guys have fun. I'll catch you guys later, man.
Aspiring to be patriarchs like what white men have, that isn't freedom. That isn't going to help anybody. It's certainly not going to help black people.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with y'all? You niggas are crazy.
Nigga, please. Serious.
It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's